Well, no, are they actually? Like, what does your child think that is? It's not just a stick to them because their imagination is going wild. There's a beautiful book called This Is Not a Stick, and it literally takes you on a journey with a child that has a stick, and it's not a stick, it's everything but.
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Kia ora everyone, we are back. Kia ora Lauren.
Kia ora, Ray.
We are going to, as we're going into the 1st of Feb, let's start back with our play-based passion, what a lot of our early learning centres throughout Aotearoa are built on, and probably worldwide, in fact, in that space. Play-based learning, what is it to you?
So to me, it's quite a large topic, right? Like, it's not just children playing. There's a lot more complexities to it. I think for me, it's uninterrupted free play. So not bounding the children to routines, not interrupting their play for meal times, break times, mat times, toilet breaks, that kind of thing. Allowing them to solely direct or redirect their own learning and make decisions based on what they want to do and what learning they want to do for their day.
Yep. So if we can think back to our own childhoods, we can think about those times when we were lucky to go off with our cousins or brothers or sisters or aunties or whatever, and whatever resources was at the park or at the river or the lake or whatever, we figured out and we played and we turned it into whatever we wanted it to do. Ultimately, we remember those experiences for what they are because of the joy it probably brought us, the control and autonomy it brought us. But also, I think in that scenario, we could actually go back tomorrow and carry on playing it. We could go back a week later and pick up the game. And that's the beauty of what play-based is. You talked about complexities. What does it look like in a complexity of understanding for people that don't know? Let's just talk to the fact that people will assume what they hear as play, as what is play-based learning. What is the complexity there for understanding what it is? Or what's the challenge for understanding play-based?
That's a difficult question. And I think for me, it comes down to knowledge. It comes down to people that are trained or even experienced in early childhood. They understand the importance of play. And even some primary schools, educators on a whole, right? They understand the importance of play-based learning. And I think it's coming a little bit more prevalent in the primary schools now. Back when I was at school, it definitely wasn't. It was very much structured. Play-based learning in primary school wasn't even a thing back when I was at school. Whereas now it's becoming quite a lot more popular. And I think that's because of the international research, right? We're quite international and within New Zealand. But I think it comes down to, for people outside of education, I think it comes down to their knowledge around what play actually is and what learning is happening. And I think that then falls on the educator to be able to articulate and describe what is actually happening in that play. You know, a simple thing is, oh yeah, my child's just playing with sticks. Well, no, are they actually? Like, what does your child think that is? It's not just a stick to them because their imagination is going wild. There's a beautiful book called This Is Not a Stick, and it literally takes you on a journey with a child that has a stick, and it's not a stick, it's everything but. It's a fishing rod, it's literally everything.
A life-saving device, a weapon, whatever it is that's relevant to the child and their perceptions. I think ultimately for me, remember I came out of the primary school setting, I think ultimately the benefits I've seen for play-based is the volume of creativity that we see in the rooms. And he's passed away now, but Sir Ken Robinson has a very, very famous TED Talk, which we could probably link in this podcast. Do schools kill creativity? Yes,
I've seen that. It's beautifully.
And he tells a great story about a young girl who's in the back room who didn't really participate a lot, and they're in an art lesson, and they walk over and say to her, what are you drawing? And she says, I'm drawing God. And the teacher says, oh, that's interesting because no one knows what God looks like. She goes, they will in a minute. You know, the beauty of that in that one little interaction tells us that the perceptions that children carry are very low. They only start to come in as an adult trait, really. And what we see in our early learning settings is a group of children who can engage and learn to play and interact, but actually carry a theme that drives their play and learning.
Yeah.
The challenge that we get given, though, is how is that teaching? And you talked to something there. You talked about the skill of the educator, but let's talk directly to that. What is the skill of the educator when observing play?
Yeah, so similar to Shay's podcast.
Yep.
Similar aspects of that too. But for me, sitting back and observing it's not just watching the child play. Like I'm making all of the connections to their prior learning, to potential pathways for where their learning's going to go. I'm making connections to all of the relevant documents that outline the learning that is happening for that child. Typically, for somebody that is untrained or inexperienced or not an educator, they're looking at it like, yeah, they're having a great time. My child's happy. And that's for the most part, the most important thing, right? But for educators, it's being able to sit back and look at exactly what is happening for them. How are they feeling while they're interacting?
Yes.
Are they playing independently? Are they playing with others? Why not? How can we as the educator support wherever they're at? Are they playing independently and they want to socialize, they just don't know how? So then we come in as the educator to then scaffold and support and put measures in place to allow them to exceed, for lack of better description, the lid, the law of the lid that you talked about.
So scaffolding, is that Vygotsky?
Yes.
Yeah, so Vygotsky, he I mean, I remember learning this at uni, being like, what the hell does this say? But
and his zone of proximal development is so crucial.
And it is actually very, very relevant when understanding that as an educator within any sort of scenario, actually, all I can recall when I was running a reading group and I'm working with little Lauren, and Lauren's reading to me, at that time I'm scanning. I'm not only looking at what she is doing, I'm able to see what she couldn't do, and actually I'm also thinking, what's going to be next?
Yep.
And I remember going out
and how.
Yes. How do I teach that? How do I coach that? And I remember going out and selecting books, and you look at books and you're like, okay, cool. Oh, there's a few challenging words like that and this. Oh, they understand that scenario. We can have good discussion about that. It's actually quite a common piece to do. But talking to it in that space of watching play, there is so much opportunity to actually figure out pathways, because patterns start to emerge. Patterns emerge, and it's such a powerful way. Just quickly, what do you think, what is one thing that play-based offers a child who is struggling emotionally to really regulate? What does play give them or allow them to do?
It allows them to be expressive. It literally gives them the opportunity it provides them the opportunity to self-regulate, whether that is artistically, whether that is socially, whether it is whatever realm they're interested in. It could be independent play. It could be the ability to remove themselves from a situation, to be able to self-regulate.
Yes.
That's
and at their own speed. I think that's an important piece.
Well, that's where the uninterrupted comes in, right? Because if you've got a child that is struggling to self-regulate, but your teacher's like, oh, hold on, it's 11:30, it's time for Kai.
Yeah.
You need to stop this, and we need to move on to food.
Crying,
Stop your feelings, because this routine needs to happen.
Because it's lunchtime. You need to stop being upset because you need to eat your lunch. But
actually, it could be they're upset because they need to eat the lunch. So it's going back and looking at those basic hierarchical needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, to figure out what that child needs as well, because often children can't do that themselves.
Well, actually, Maslow's needs are so applicable, and what play supports. Courtney and I were talking about Maslow's needs, and in that very, very space, if you are not safe, which is the bottom of Maslow's needs, there's no way to progress. And actually, we could probably all think of adults who don't feel safe, and that we all know in our own peer circles who don't feel safe, and they've always been those people that they're too scared to try things, or they worry about other people's opinions, or is this good? Oh, I don't know. It's all this doubt and self-doubt. And Maslow's needs, if we can't actually implement and build a base around that, it's actually very hard to progress a child into the next stages of safety.
Absolutely.
And now that I know, and today I did a very special mat time for me personally, and I don't mind mentioning him because the family are very close with us, and George has been a big part of us for a long time. I've got no concerns about George going off to school, because I know that is he going to struggle? Yeah, every kid, our friend Ken Marlowe struggled in spaces. They still struggle. But actually the basis of safety is there. He's got the basis of safety from his mum and dad. He's got the basis of safety with his family. And I also know Future Focus is a basis of safety for him too.
Agreed.
Like, we have him, because obviously his sister's still with us. He'll come back in and he'll probably just go and start playing because his basis of safety is there, and he feels like he can. And he actually said today, Brittany said, "What's your favourite things about Future Focus?" He said two things. He said, one, playing. That is what he said straight up. And then the second thing he said is Ray. But I know that playing is so important to him because it's built so many memories. So on that,
but he gets to that safety blanket because we've met all those basic needs: food, shelter, warmth.
Yeah.
We've met all of those.
We should probably link Maslow's needs too as well. But okay, Lauren, that's an awesome short conversation. We will come back to this. I think there's so much. You're right. The complexities are really important to dig into. But I know that we probably need slots to build in that. So.
Absolutely. And I also think there's different philosophies and different views that you can look through play-based, depending on what your own personal teaching philosophy is, but also wherever your centre is located.
But the reality is, play is universal.
Absolutely.
And there is no language
you just
to play.
Look through a different lens.
Yeah. Exactly. So, okay, that's a great note to end on. We'll thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
Thanks.